Hello, we are continuing our Asian ass-kicking content, and yes, we are the geeks and degenerates, and I am Enzo. With me, as always, is John, and we're talking about one of the most celebrated action movies of all time, which is the first Ip Man movie, starring Donnie Yen and directed by Wilson Yip. So, this came around 2008, and how did you come to discover this movie?
Didn't watch it in 2008. Yeah, I've never seen it. All I know is that there was a second movie that was coming out around 2012. And my friend just wouldn't shut up about it. My friend, who was a Bruce Lee fanatic, was like, hey man, there's this movie called Ip Man, it's crazy, and there's this gang fights like 10 karate guys. My friend is the type who to learn the nunchucks. You know, he's that guy. And would know every Bruce Lee move. So I was like, all right, cool, fine. I've seen Jackie Chan films and Jet Li films. I'll give this one a try. This one was different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, it was different. And it was looking into Ip Man 1 around my age, around 13. I saw this around 2012 before watching the second movie with the one with the boxer.
Yeah.
When I watched this, then watched that one in theaters, I was like, Ip Man had its own world. Like, yes, it's China, but mainland China, but like, it felt like a completely different universe in of itself. Like this whole town that Ip Man lived in just felt like an anime. Like, oh, this place doesn't exist when it was set in 1930s. So I'm like, so it was like a bit of an eye-opener for me, because you would see Jackie Chan films and Jet Li films where they would either come to New York or go to Las Vegas, and then they would fight there. And, well, of course, there's some in China. But, you know, it's kind of like, oh, it's just an action movie. Here, it's an action movie. I don't know how to say it. I'm not a video essay guy, but this one kind of felt different. You know, shit just hit different.
Yeah, well, I got into this movie because of you, and then like the only Asian-based action movie I ever saw before this one was probably the Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, or well, more accurately, the Kung Fu Kid.
I am legitimately embarrassed to be seen with you.
I mean, of course, I saw the Jackie Chan and Jet Li movies, but like a full-on movie set in China about Kung Fu.
Named Karate Kid.
Yeah,
that was like blatantly racist.
Like you don't know the difference between Kung Fu and Karate. Movie makers, please.
It's like watching a Dynasty era movie and it's named The Rising Sun.
The Three Kingdoms, The Rising Sun. You're like, what?
Oh no! When the West can differentiate Chinese and Japanese, it's just hard.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and then so became my descent into the rabbit hole of like really good Asian action movies, such as this one, the second Ip Man, The Raid.
3, 4.
I haven't seen 3 and 4 yet.
Really?
Yeah, I wanna.
Mike Tyson?
No, Ip Man 4's on Disney Plus, but not 3, so I'm just waiting for Ip Man 3 to miraculously this drop. But yeah,
I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Anyway,
but yeah, we'll save our other praises for the movie later. But I do like how this is a mix between, you know, mythology and historical accuracy. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. But for the most part, this movie kind of blends into both fantasy and history.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to save myself from being buried alive by the Kung Fu cinematic universe fans, when I say, oh, Jet Li and Jackie Chan being in the US and it's kind of bland action movies, what I say is that's the only thing I was exposed to at the time. I'm not saying all Kung Fu movies are based on Chinese people going to the West, right? Just Making it clear. Sorry, just digging my own grave.
But yeah, we meet Ip Man and we are in Foshan in the 1930s, and Foshan is the place to be where you want to learn martial arts, and Ip Man is the best of the best.
Okay, so just think of Hogwarts, where you have your own different factions. You have like Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, that shit. But this time, instead of magic, they kick your ass with their fist. Like, it's that. Like, there are probably like what 6 or 7 different schools right in front of each other.
Yeah.
And you see different practitioners doing their own fucking shit. You don't hear this often anymore, where a guy who teaches kung fu or any martial arts just has a building of his own. That's his house.
Yeah.
And he just lets students in, whoever he deems worthy, and just lets them do their own thing. Not really, teach them how to do their own thing. That shit is so cool. I want that to come back. I want martial artist practitioners to like just have this whole tournament-based village where you just go off to another building, fight, come back, see if you won or not. Like, that's just so sick.
Yeah. And Ip Man himself is a practitioner of Wing Chun, and I like how the masters all try their best against Ip Man for like a private session. Like, maybe I have a shot. Maybe I have a chance.
Okay, the first part of Ip Man was just that Ip Man was just like sorry if I'm taking this from accented cinema, but he is kind of like Superman. This man cannot be corrupted. This guy cannot be swayed to do something he doesn't want to do. Ip Man is not a practitioner. Is not a teacher. Sorry. He doesn't like having disciples. He doesn't like having students. He likes to keep shit to himself. He has a family, and he's very rich because he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Getting to fight Ip Man is like being invited to the most exclusive restaurant.
Yeah.
It is like, oh shit, I reserved a year and a half to eat at this place. And once you do, if you win or not, you won't.
Yeah. And then, like, you also see that reputation is also the most important, because the two masters agree. Ip Man and Liu are like, alright, this is a private session. No one will know if I won or lost. But, like, when one starts spreading rumors about this, he's like, who are you to talk about these rumors? You're ruining my reputation. How dare you?
Yeah, there was a guy, like, peeking while they were fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says that, Ip Man beat this master who's highly regarded in the village. Or town.
Yeah.
So that does kind of damage his reputation.
Yeah.
If you say this master beat this master, of course, students and future students would like to lean towards the guy who won.
Yeah. And like,
so, I get it.
You see how well respected Ip Man is among the people in this area, and like among business people too, because he's offered a role or a share in the cotton mill industry by his friend, and then even the police chief, when he's like interrupting the confrontation between Juan and Liu and Ip Man, has to respect Ip Man, because once he pulls out his gun, he's like, it's all about guns now. Ip Man just immediately disarms him. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, y'all got nothing on Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
By the way, if you all think that these guys are taking, like, doing this whole stunt double thing, hell no. They're doing this shit on their own.
Yeah, most of the actors here are doing their own shit, especially Donnie Yen, which is very impressive to see. Especially
By the way, yeah?
Especially in 2008, where you're too used to like the cutty and shaky shit. Now you're like, oh fuck, action movies like this still exist.
I get to see everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Donnie Yen, he's gonna be in the next John Wick, so Donnie Yen is known to, like, hit you. Like, hit you.
Yeah.
Like, not in a Steven Seagal way where he just hits you out of nowhere. He gives you a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna hit you, but I'll pay you double. I'm like, okay. Hey, man, not gonna lie. I would gladly get hit by Donnie Yen for free. Just to say that I got punched by Donnie Yen.
Me too, actually. But after the confrontation and after Lee humiliates, sorry, it was Lee. Yeah, Lee humiliates one runs away, never to be found again for a good chunk of this movie, and then at the same time, outsiders come in to set up their own martial arts school and take on masters of each of the martial arts house.
Well, an absolute look. Okay, sure. He got embarrassed as when he got to Hitman, but
Yeah.
this man was an absolute chad. Just walking into a village filled with martial arts masters.
Yeah, Master
Fighting-
Jin is no pushover, definitely.
And I love his fighting style. It was like Tiger something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but for me, that was my favorite fighting style. No offense to it, man. But yeah, so Master Jin, man ain't no pushover. Man decimates the entire village until he got in.
Yeah.
This man was a master of almost everything. Like when one dude pulled out a spear, he pulled out his sword. And I was like, fuck.
Even took the spear guy non-lethally too. Like, this guy's good.
And yeah, well, he's not there to kill. He's there for reputation. He's
Yeah.
like there for pride.
But when he gets to Ip Man, I love how everybody wants to see, but the police officer's like, no, this is a private fight. And then he's speaking like, please restore our honor, Ip Man.
Yeah, that's the same cop who like pulled a gun on him too, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he had that much respect. Yeah, he had that much respect for him, and he's like, no. Under this jurisdiction, you're not allowed to pass.
And then the two fight, and I do love, again, the choreography here is amazing, and it's clean. It's not, I'm not saying it's not dirty, but like you see the hits as they come and go, and you see the aerobatics of Donnie, and you're like, oh shit, this guy's amazing, and what he does.
And I gotta say, I think that hit with the feather duster, where he hits Master Jin in the face, where you just see this red line. I think that was real.
Same here, you can't really tell what's makeup and what's real. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, of course, when you see Donnie Yen with like a huge welt on his face, you can tell that of course they didn't hit him.
Yeah.
But like at some points, who did Donnie Yen really hit in this movie? And I love this entire fight scene where it's comedic, but at the same time serious. Where Donnie Yen's wife isn't pretty much of a fan of what he does.
Yeah.
Like she kind of doesn't like it that he talks about kung fu and shit. And when they do fight in her house, the Master Jin starts breaking her shit. He's like, "I'll pay for that." And he breaks another thing. "I'll pay for that." It's very fun, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And ultimately, Master Yin loses and he scurries off, never to be seen until like the later end of this movie. We're like, I hope we see him again, and you do eventually. But everybody's celebrating Ip Man, everything's good, and then fate happens and Japan invades China. This is not World War II. This is still when Japan was taking over countries in a very scary manner, and it doesn't hold back on how brutal the Japanese were on China.
Yeah, because you do see that it changes everybody's lives.
Yeah.
Where the Kung Fu village turns into a Japanese fortress.
Yeah.
And you see Ip Man, pretty much from his leisure life to being poor, where
Yeah.
they struggle to get a grain of rice, and he has to work in the coal mines.
Yeah.
I think the captain, right? He's the
Yeah.
captain. The police captain kind of learns Japanese and becomes a translator for the Japanese just to have an easier life. And I get it.
Yeah.
You know, they say he's a traitor, but the man's working with what he got.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's selling out hidden Chinese guerrilla, hideouts to Japanese.
Yeah. That's true. He's not really getting people killed. He's just translating.
Yeah,
He's just working for them.
He has no choice under debt upon himself, so I get it too. But he tells people, for a bit, Ip Man and Lin are reunited and they're happy to see each other. And then Captain Lee comes in and he says, hey, we're looking for people to compete in this competition. And Lin goes, and before he's like, hey, can you help me look for this tin box? that I need for my brother? And Ip Man's like, sure. And then he goes away. And then you go to the compound of General Miura, who is holding competitions to see who is the best martial artist, because he reveres Chinese martial arts, but at the same time he wants to prove that Japanese martial arts is superior to Chinese martial arts.
As every martial artist does.
Yeah.
Around that time, I guess.
Yeah. And then Lin sees that Master Liu is also competing, and like the prize is a sack of rice. And then
for every karate disciple that they beat.
And they're all black belts too, so they're not pushovers themselves. But yeah, General Miura wants to compete himself against 3 opponents, and Lin is one of the volunteers who says, "Alright, I'll fight you for the price of a sack of rice." Shit, if that's the price, then I'm more than willing to fight you. But General Miura proves to be more of a handful for these 3 people, because he kicks their asses, and like they're telling them like, stand down, you're already bleeding from your internal organs, sir.
No, I love that though. It's just that this guy is very samurai-esque.
Yeah.
And not sound racist here, but like you get what I mean. Where he just challenges people. Just, I guess it's just his passion just to fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just love that shit. I love it that they're like, yeah, it's a war, but like right now I just want to fight.
Yeah. And then Lin doesn't back down, and Miura just breaks or ruptures very important internal organs in him, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, the man's just like, fuck. The man's just down for the count. They give him his rice and shit, but you know he ain't making it.
Yeah. Like, it's either he ruptured your lungs or he just broke your sternum, which then pierced your lungs.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a medic.
Yeah.
But sadly, Ip Man does find that tin that he was looking for.
Yeah.
But he was a little too late.
Yeah, and he is asking Leah, like, have you seen Lin? And he's just like, who? We need more volunteers. He's like, that's funny. And he volunteers himself.
Yeah. No, but there was wait, is Master Lin the guy with like he was like kicking ass?
That's Master Liu.
Liu. Yeah. No, we had that scene with Master Liu where he was the top fighter.
Yeah.
Like he was the best as of that moment, and then once that one Japanese guy saw that he was kicking ass, he's like, no, that's disrespecting our country, and just shoots him.
Yeah, well, he did get his ass kicked, and he's like, no more, please. I give up. I give it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then before he could go, he got shot in the back.
Yeah, and
which angers
Miura.
Ip Man.
And Miura too, he's like, don't you ever fire in here again. But yeah, Ip Man's like, why did you shoot him? What the fuck? And then out of anger, he says, I want to challenge 10 people.
I love that shit though, like where Miura is just like, what the fuck? He was a good fighter.
Yeah.
Like I just love that chivalry.
Yeah. And then we get my favorite action scene in this whole movie, which is Ip Man versus the 10 black belts.
So, Force Awakens, take note. This is how you do a group fight. Sure,
Last Jedi.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Last Jedi, my bad. Oh, when you see this, yes, you can argue that some of them were taking turns. Some were like at the background while Ip Man's just like, doing that shit. But I don't know, it was just done so seamlessly. And if you're not a practitioner or you're not a choreographer, you're not gonna notice.
Yeah.
That was the thing, like, you don't notice.
But even though there were people in the background, there were like 2 people flying at Ip Man, you're like, it's still...
Oh, yeah. Like, one guy would, like, fly from behind and he would just kick backwards. I was like, oh.
Like, I love it when Ip Man does his, like, multiple punches,
this thing.
Yeah. And, like, it's not even just one hit that knocks you out, it's multiple punches until you go limp. You're like, oh, guess that guy's
like,
done.
Like, the man's more of a DPS than a heavy hitter, you know?
Yeah. He breaks one guy's leg after splitting him. We're like, fuck.
And I saw, like, how they did it. It is just a prosthetic leg. And they had, like, I think green screen his main leg. But that shit was just fun to see, where you just...
Like, oh god, legs are not supposed to bend that way.
You know, like, remember seeing that scene where he like flips that one dude,
Yeah.
and to get towards another guy, he steps on his face. I was like, oh god. Look, the entire movie, Ip Man was holding back. Sure, he was fighting the best of the best, but the man was holding back. He wasn't trying to kill anyone. Here he was literally breaking people in half. I was like, he like caves in this one dude's shoulder.
Yeah.
This
Like, his
poor
arms-
man just gets 10 punches within a second into
His
the
arms
face.
behind him. Why does it bend that way?
Oh, yeah, when he flips towards the other side, the guy's arm just. Oh, that shit was so fun. And then that poor one, that last guy, who just. It man cradles him between his legs and holds his face firmly as he's just.
Again,
I was like,
hits him until he goes to live. You're like, why?
yeah, I was like. And then, the general's just like. Fuck!
Yeah. It's like, I'm very impressed with you. Please come back. And he's like, I won't come back. And then Lee's just like, he will come back. Don't worry.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's your name? I love it that Ip Man goes the humble route, but of course the translator had to do it.
Yeah.
Ip Man goes, I'm just a normal Chinese man. And the translator goes, Ip Man. I was like, what? Now he knows your name.
And then after giving the rise to Liu's family, he confronts Lee. He's like, you're a traitor. And he's like, I'm a traitor. I'm just doing what I have to do to survive. Thanks, Ip Man.
Yeah. I really can't blame Captain Lee there.
Yeah.
And we get another arc, because how many arcs were there in this fucking movie?
Right.
Because Master Jin comes back.
Yeah.
But this time he's more of like a gangster now. He likes taking money from people and pretty much bully people into giving him the cash.
It's like, man, our country's occupied. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so like there's this, it's the cotton factory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where Ip Man's friend owns it, asks for help from Ip Man because Master Jin's back and he's pretty much bullying the entire town
Yeah.
into giving him the cash and shit. When they can't even feed themselves.
Yeah. And then he trains them. We're like, oh shit. Let's get down to business to defeat not the Huns.
Master Jin pretty much, but
Yeah.
I like it that they didn't become martial artist masters.
Yeah.
You tell that, like, sure, they got the basics down.
Yeah, it's just
Where-
enough to defend yourself, not enough to be Ip Man 2.0.
Yeah. Like, when the fight began, once they finally stood up for themselves, they were getting their ass kicked.
Yeah. Though before that, there's a tense scene where Miura is still looking for Ip Man and he sends Lee to find him. And then Lee finds him and like he's with a company of Japanese soldiers and Ip Man's son is playing with the Japanese soldier's gun. He's going bang.
God.
And the guy's just like
Yeah.
fucking with the guy. You're like, oh my god, that's just terrifying. And
Yeah,
then
because the Japanese guy who shot the master
yeah.
early on, he was legit pointing that gun at his kid.
Yeah. And then he sees his wife, like, what is he going to do with the wife?
Mm-hmm.
And then Ip Man stops him in his tracks and just kicks all of their asses, and they're like, we have to go. You just beat up an entire company of soldiers. We have to leave right now.
Yeah, but that means they're coming back with backup.
Yeah. And then for his participation of letting Ip Man go, poor Lee is beaten to shit. You're like, oh, poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ip Man's in hiding, and like, as this is going down, Master Jin comes back with one who's been with him this entire time, and as they're attacking the factory, all the employees start fighting back. You're like, I like this. And then you see one of Master Jin's, I guess, members get cracked over the back of his head, and it's Ip Man.
I can't love that shit. Like, you would think that he'd go back at it again with, just Wing Chun does whatever he did to those 10 karate guys. No! They're a little bit fun with it. He uses that pole that they use for the kata and then just It's very creative, and it's pretty much a dance throughout this whole scene. It's not a fight scene; it's a dance, and I like it. And you see you see like little fat old ladies just like you know throwing hands and shit.
Yeah.
While this huge dude just like decks him. I'm like, okay.
And then he defeats Master Jin again, and then as he's retreating, one tries to follow him, and he follows one. He's like, "Your brother wanted this. He died, and what you're doing is not right. You're
Mm.
taking advantage of people during a time when our country is in most need. So
Yeah.
please stop. Please stop
But-
going down this path."
Yeah, once after we got that scene, they pretty much win because it meant hard carried.
Gives
But
one
the Japanese do
the
come
kite.
in though, right?
Yeah,
Hmm?
gives one the kite. You're like, oh.
Yeah,
But yeah, the
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
do come in, and then he's like, you find out that Miura wants Ip Man to train the Japanese army in Chinese martial arts, and Ip Man's like, hell no, I won't do that. But
Yeah.
I will give you the duel you want.
yeah. Oh fuck! But at the same time, you do see that they're formulating a plan to like get his kid and wife out of town,
Yeah,
just away from war as possible,
yeah.
as much as possible. Sorry.
And like, I like while he's in prison, Ip Man calls out General Miura because he's like, I have such reverence for Chinese traditions and martial arts. And he's like, you invaded us and you kill our people. Stop being a hypocrite. He's like, oh, okay.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah,
You know, like you say you respect our culture, yet you kind of like you fucked us over.
yeah. And Colonel Sato tells him like, even if you win, we're still going to kill you. So you better
Yeah.
lose.
So there's no point. Like,
Yeah,
but the general doesn't.
yeah,
I feel like if I was that Japanese general and he started killing the people who I like to fight, I would have immediately shot that second in command.
yeah. Because as he said, like, I look like a coward if I say no to this fight. You don't think I
Mhm.
can win this, Colonel? He's like, yes, you
Right.
can. Of course you can. Like, okay.
But like you can see that during the fight that they had, you see the colonel like reaching for his gun and shit.
Yeah, I do like the last fight between Ip Man and General Miura, where it's not like it's not as one-sided as the rest of Ip Man's fights, but you can still tell like Ip Man's still the best. He's still better than General Miura because he does kick his ass by the end. Like, yeah.
It's the whole fight scene was just 5 minutes. By
Yeah,
the way, like, all of it was build up, but the fight scene was 5 minutes. And if you say that's quick, you are right.
yeah,
It's very quick. Like General Miura does get a few good hits, but once he got his back up against that pole and just started eating 80 punches a second, and you can tell that he's not gonna make it, and he just like bangs his head against
Yeah.
this metal pole, and just he was out. He was out.
I gotta prefer Ip Man 2's ending fight over this one.
Agreed, because Hitman was very handicapped because there are rules where boxer had to, sorry, Hitman had to pretty much use his hands instead of his feet when
Yeah,
Wing Chun utilizes all parts of the body.
yeah, and I like saying a racist get his comeuppance, but that's not for this movie. But yeah, General Miura is defeated, and like you see the slow motion, and Ip Man gets shot, and like as I was watching this, I'm like, he trains Bruce Lee. He trains Bruce Lee. He
He
trains.
trains Bruce Lee. He's alive. Yeah, and to anyone who hasn't watched Hitman yet, Hitman is a real guy.
Yeah,
This guy is the one who gave us Bruce Lee. He's the one who trained Bruce Lee, and you'll see it in like old photos of when Bruce Lee was like very young. You'll see this bald old dude. That's him.
yeah, and I do like how Captain Lee makes the Colonel Sato shoot himself. So like that's cathartic.
Wait, oh yeah, I forgot because
Yeah.
there's a whole. Everybody was mad because it was
Yeah.
like that shit was unfair.
Yeah,
Yeah, but luckily enough, the wife, instead of running away, she finally realized that whatever he liked to do, I should have respected it and
yeah,
let him be. Thus, coming back and saving him and taking him away before shit really went down in that village. Look, the village doesn't get like a happy ending.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It gets destroyed by the war,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
But they're able to run away. We do get to see that Hitman does survive his gunshot. The guy who helped them escape, who owns the cotton factory, sadly gets killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a happy ending. They moved to Hong Kong, I think.
Yeah, and then the epilogue says he founds his first teaching school there, and then that's where he trained some of the best martial artists, including one of the greatest action stars in Bruce Lee.
Yeah, and it's a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
Like, he wins, but his home's gone.
Yeah, like not much
Yeah.
he can do when an invading force is angry at an entire town. Like, oh fuck. Like, I guess if you want to say historically accurate, that's the story, unfortunately. But yeah, this is a good movie, and I do like it. I just like the second one a bit more. But like, I'm not saying this is a bad movie because of that. I'm just saying, as we go along, it just gets better. But for the first movie, what would you rate this?
I kind of agree with you. Where the second one for me, I do prefer more because I like Sabo.
Yeah.
He's a very big fat master guy. Dude's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a game changer of kung fu movie because I think there's one of the ones that are like got pushed outside of like Chinese cinema, and like everybody else got a taste of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, oh, it's not just dramatized mythical stories. No, it's a very dramatized historical movie. Yeah, of course, I don't know if the whole Ip Man fighting against 10 guys was real. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But that shit was just so fun to see, and you see that there was this whole other world within that time in China, in mainland China, where everybody was a practitioner. Being a martial artist would get you rich, not just through UFC, but being good at it. And yeah, the story in itself was very, how would I say, like, it's not traditional, where the hero gets, you know, what he wants, the happy ending and shit. Oh, they have to flee. They lose. Japan does take over and destroy their home, and it's very, you know, grown up. I gotta say, it's not just a regular action. The choreography was great. All the acting was great. Sure, there are some annoying characters here and there, like the wife. I didn't understand the wife that much. But I do love Master Jin because you do see him in the next one.
Yeah.
And he becomes really good friends with like Hitman. Choreography was great. Fight scenes were amazing. So I'm gonna give this one a solid 8 out of 10 or 8.5. There we go. I'll bump it up a bit. 8.5. If you want to hit, if you want a motivation to hit something, watch this movie.
I'll also give this an 8 out of 10. I do like the story and the characters, and of course the choreography, and I like how you don't know where history and fiction, where those lines are blurred. But for the sake of telling a story for a movie, I like it. I like how this goes down, and like as you said, the hero doesn't win much aside from escaping by the skin of his teeth, and that's about it. It is bittersweet, but like I like how this is an eye-opener to people who want more than just, you know, the rush hours or the one with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson of Western. You're like, this is weird.
Nights.
Yeah. Or the weird, oh, it's called Karate Kid, even though it's set in China. Like, what?
And it's Kung Fu. Oh god. Okay, Kung Fu Chinese, Karate Japanese. You got it? Taekwondo Korean.
Yeah, let's not confuse cultures and air martial arts, please.
Oh my god.
But yeah, 8 out of 10. This is a pretty good movie. And anything else to add about Ip Man?
No. If you ever want to start a martial arts hobby, I feel like there's good inspiration.
Yeah.
Watch all 4 movies. They're all great. We all got good fights. Some cheesy lines. I don't know if it legit happened. I don't know if Ip Man really met Mike Tyson. But it's a good time. Scott Atkins is there too. The guy's great.
Okay. Yeah, that's been our video on Ip Man, and our last Asian action movie is special because there are action movies, and then there is The Raid. So stay tuned for that. If you want to see more of us on this platform, on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. You can also find us at Facebook and Twitter. No.
No, we don't have a Twitter.
No, we don't. TikTok and Spotify. Spotify to hear us on the go. Maybe you are traveling and having your own martial arts adventure and you want to hear a podcast. You're more than welcome to listen to us. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, and individually you can find me at Twitter at Delphus1995. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnGOM_ on Instagram. It is my art account.
And that's all the time we have for this video at least. We'll see you on the next one. Bye everybody.
Ciao.